Meeting called to order. Start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. What do we got going tonight?
We have department head updates first. We will start with water sewer, Tim Billiter.
Water sewer, we finished up working on the area. This is extended fall has worked out pretty well for us. Hopefully they'll run all winter. They're kind of a time bomb item, but we should be all set with them. Working on the water plant, doing some building maintenance up there. We had a water leak. Tim Brown's guys helped us on that. It was a lead joint that the lead had pushed out, so we put a repair plan on that. And that's about it. Budget meeting tomorrow.
Thank you, Tim Brown.
Pretty much just normal stuff with two guys short. We've got ads out, seeking new people. I've split the plow routes up, so hopefully the main routes will still be hit first. And obviously, the less important your road, the longer it'll be before we get there.
Sure.
But we'll do the best we can.
That's all we can do.
And that's pretty much all.
Okay.
Yeah, I plan to put just a notice on our website and Facebook page, just letting people know that the highway department is short-staffed. Please be patient. It might take a little bit longer to clear roads, but they will be done. So they'll still be the same service, just might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Sure. And I'll kind of report for the transfer station. The best news is I wanted to introduce Rusty Scott, who is going to be the new transfer station super.
Welcome aboard.
Solid waste manager.
Yeah.
So Rusty, his first day is going to be Wednesday. He's going to work with Bill during the week, and then Saturday Brian's coming back for one day to kind of work with Rusty through kind of the administrative stuff, computer stuff, everything like that. So basically with Rusty's hire, they're going to be, transfer station will be full staff. Rob Blanchett, who's taking over for Bill Brown, when he retires at the end of the month, he'll be starting next week. Good news with Rob that might help Tim Brown is Rob has a CDL, and he previously, he's coming from Dalton where he worked in their transfer station, worked on some of their wastewater pumps as well, and then he was also working in the highway crew, so he has experience plowing the roads. So if need be, I spoke with him Saturday, he said, wherever you need me, I'll help out. So
Good deal.
he's definitely already proven to be a good fit just with that attitude. So we're looking forward to that. And it'll be interesting to see, and exciting to see between two new guys, you know, the solid waste manager and the assistant manager, how they might come with some new ideas and thoughts and potential changes for the place. So pretty excited about that. Appreciate Rusty taking a chance and excited to have him. So I don't know if Rusty, if you want to say anything, or if you guys have any questions for him?
Nope.
Fitting in
See
perfect.
everybody and wave and say hi and how Wednesday kicks off, so good. I'm
Meetings on Thursday.
Good deal.
Thank you. Robin is off today. Just the main thing I wanted to report out for her is we've got notification from the state on those that per unit grant, housing grant, where we have the potential for, I believe it was about 140,000. They want to meet to go over our application in the next week or two. They're asking for additional information that really isn't anything that we would provide to them until we're given an award. Like they want a certificate, authority to sign a contract for the town of Lancaster. Typically, we don't do that until we get a grant and you guys accept it, and then you give that authority to somebody.
Right.
So I will share that with them. Typically, that's the process we go through. Award us the grant, we'll accept it, and then we'll issue that. Official policy on permitting as far as our land use permits, I don't think we technically have any official, I haven't found anything on paper. It just might be something I need to write down, how we do it, how we've always done it, and then just have you guys basically Sign it. Approve it, yeah, is the standard policy for that. So probably what I'll just do is write, we didn't get this until Friday afternoon, so I'll just draft up something for them and make it be a draft pending approval, but that's how we'll do it. And then some of the other stuff, like most grantors require an insurance, basically a binder,
Yep.
showing our workman's comp and liability. Again, we don't do that unless
Till
we're given
awarded.
a grant, so if they want to award it to us, then I'd be more than happy to share it with them. Other than that, that's pretty much, would be probably Robin's report. She's plugging away on the capital improvement plan as well,
Okay,
trying to get something for the budget committee.
good.
That's it for department head updates, unless you guys got anything.
Guys, good?
I'm good.
We're all good?
We're good, you guys are free to go. Thank you.
Looks like we're moving in a positive direction, so.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We've got some good
Welcome
quality-
aboard.
Thank you.
Good quality applicants. Thank you.
So, yeah.
Next item will be the minutes from the November 21st meeting. You all should have gotten a copy of it and reviewed it.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have some things, some various paperwork to sign, mainly intent to cuts. First one is for Peter and Jody Gray. It's for land off of Bunker Hill. Acreage of the lot is 27, acreage of the cut is 5.
Okay. That one spot. Down low.
Excuse me. Thank you. It's been look right forward.
Next item is Sandra Younghands on Garland Road. It's actually 3 lots. Map R11, lots 25, 26, and 30. Total acreage, combined acreage is 36. Acreage to be cut is 18. Last intent to cut is for Forbes Farm Partnership. It's tax map R2, lot 26. 136 acres on the lot and 15 are to be cut. And the last item is just authorization for our assessor Jason Call to submit our assessment data to the state's state system for equalization. You guys just would sign it and date it, authorizing him to do so. These places.
Right there?
Yep. I'm gonna get that all plugged in and entered in. All right, moving on, kind of the next item on the agenda is the transfer station hire. I basically announced that with Rusty Scott.
Okay.
Happy about that, I think he'll do a great job. Not necessarily a lot of any experience in transfer stations or solid waste, but a lot of managerial experience, very intelligent individual, organized,
Yep.
deals very well with people. And having worked there a few Saturdays in the last couple months, it's very much a
People's
people-oriented
person. Yeah.
operation, and a lot of customer service, not just dumping trash, so he will be a good fit in there. Hopefully he'll be happy with that. And also is Tim Brown, he did leave. So remaining open positions, as we kind of discussed last week, or last meeting 2 weeks ago, there's the mechanics position. We have that out for advertisement. I have gotten, basically we've got 2 applicants. That position is accepting applications until next Friday, at which point we'll evaluate the applications and do interviews. I think we have some potential good candidates if they are truly interested. As far as the laborer, equipment operator, truck driver position, we have 2 candidates that we're kind of waiting a little bit, even though it's beyond the open period for applications. We're waiting to see if we get any more in the next week or so before we start moving forward with that. So we'll keep you posted on that. Hopefully we can get at least, the mechanics position obviously is the priority because we need to keep the equipment on the road. Whether we got people driving or not, we at least need to keep it going for the people that are there. And again, I wanted to reiterate how much extra effort the remaining highway guys are putting in with no complaints. They understand what they have to do and are willing to do it to, again, to provide the quality of service that the townspeople of Lancaster have come to expect and deserve. So that needs to be acknowledged. So if you run into them, please give them a pat on the back. They'll appreciate it. And then I think the only other open positions that we've advertised for, there were a couple at the EMS department. They do have some candidates, and I believe they're going to be doing interviews next week for those positions. And they do also have, as far as I understand, a few good candidates that have applied for that. So that's as far as the open positions. Any questions on any of that? I did, on the advertisement for the mechanic, I did stress it more towards the mechanic end than kind of a hybrid. There's always some opportunity for them to pitch in if needed, but we're not requiring a CDL, which we did the last time we hired a mechanic. Obviously, you need a driver's license, and a CDL would be preferred, but it's not required. And then everything else, we just kind of try to stress it more along the lines of, we'd like you to be a mechanic, have a certain level of experience, certifications and stuff like that, so. Anyways, we'll go there. As far as new business, rollover of overlay. Now this basically is something we need to do every year. We have a certain overlay built into our budget that is to accommodate any potential lawsuits or abatements. And Chair, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. Lawsuits, tax appeal, which are lawsuits, tax appeals that go to court, any tax abatements. where we need to pay back to those taxpayers any money. So if we don't, we typically our rollover every year is 60,000, I believe,
That's what we've been doing
That's
since
what-
we've been in.
litigations
Yeah.
and stuff, yeah. So if we don't roll it over every year, then we only have 60,000 available every year, and oftentimes some of those, obviously for the utilities, those settlements might require a lot more than 60,000 in order to appease those court decisions. So they have to vote on that?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys would have to vote to roll over the overlay to next year.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to roll over the overlay.
Get a
Should
second?
in the amount of 60,000. Should we specify the amount? That's,
Oh, yeah, probably, yeah, because I mean, I suppose you could just vote to have a portion of it, but,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Yes.
60's good?
Okay.
that what your motion is?
Yep.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you. Next item is the Welcome Center. So for almost as long as I've been here, not necessarily in this position, but working for the town, every budget season, there's been a discussion about the town somehow getting ownership of the Welcome Center from the organization, which is the Lancaster Renaissance, that owns the building. Town owns the land that the building is on. Lancaster Renaissance owns the building. It's used as the Welcome Center. Doesn't get an awful lot of use. I think they kept track this year. There were a little over 300 visitors to the Welcome Center, and at least, if not more than half, were only there to use the bathroom, not to give pamphlets and ask questions, but to use the bathroom. We provide, every year, we've provided the Welcome Center with $15,000 to basically help pay for utilities, pay the staffing of the Welcome Center staff, maintenance, needed maintenance. Right now, they're replacing the porch roof, which was in dire need of repair. And also insurance, which between property liability and workman's comp, I think this year it was close to, if not over, $6,000. So that's a huge expense right there. One of the reasons that we've never really proceeded with the conversation is because there was always a mortgage on the building for the Lancaster Renaissance. They've since paid that note off within the last couple of years. So now that I think it's time to get serious about the conversation, and tonight obviously isn't making a decision to take ownership of it. It's basically to see if you have interest in it and if we should start basically moving in that direction, which eventually, when and if we do it, would require a vote at town meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's, we can agree to make a warrant article or anything, but
Right.
I wouldn't do anything unless town voters at
Yeah.
town meeting did it. I do think we should explore it.
Right, and that's all I'm asking, because I don't want to waste my time if you guys say, no way do I want to deal with that stuff.
No, I agree, we should explore it. What was the savings on the insurance alone?
So what I did this, I did it after this year's town meeting. So there's 3 properties that we have the potential to have ownership of. One is the Welcome Center, because it's sitting on town-owned land. The Lancaster Fire Department Association owns the Firemen's Museum, but the town of Lancaster owns the land it's sitting on. And then, as far as the Holton House, the Historical Society's building and property, if the board of the Lancaster Historical Society were to basically cease to exist, apparently within the will or the deed or the
Bylaws.
articles of agreement, bylaws of the organization, that property belongs to the town of Lancaster. So just for the hell of it, I called Primex and I said, if we were to acquire all 3 of those properties, and I sent them the tax cards of them, nothing super official, but just give me a ballpark figure what our insurance premium would increase. If we were to take receive all 3 of those properties, our insurance premiums would only increase just over $300. I mean, the Welcome Center, I can tell you the Welcome Center, like I said, because I'm the treasurer of the Lancaster Renaissance, so I pay the bills, about $6,000. I'm also the treasurer of the Fire Department Association, and our insurance, for property insurance for that, has been about $2,000, but we have gotten it down to We asked for a reassessment, a review of our policy, and we've gotten it down to just over $500, but still, 300 is even less than 500, and that's for 3 properties. So there's some savings just in insurance if we were to do that. All of those properties, I believe, are community assets. You know, the fire department, museum, houses some antique fire equipment that is owned by the town of Lancaster. I mean, it houses town of Lancaster property, not association property, town of Lancaster property. So, I mean, it's an asset there to house the history of the Lancaster Fire Department. There's also some other memorabilia in there. We haven't gone so far as to set it up with some of the stuff that we do have in there. Again, as far as the Welcome Center goes, it currently houses a business as well as the Chamber's office. And then the first floor is used for meeting space. Well, in the summertime, it's used for the Welcome Center, but the rest of the time, wintertime and off days of the Welcome Center, it's used as meeting space for the Rotary Club. I think the Lions still meet there when they do meet. The Lancaster Fair Association meets there in the wintertime. There's many other civic organizations that meet in there, and some of them do pay a fee, but it is an asset to the town.
I definitely think we should explore the Welcome Center. I also think that we should approach the Firemen's Association.
I've been in the process of that, yeah.
And because I don't want to do anything there without working with them.
Right. No.
Way back, I can remember when we was doing it and built the thing and did it. So there is some tie-in there, but I do believe it's a asset to the town, and it probably, since we own the property, we might as well own the building, although that will put us on the hook for maintenance and stuff, but it's,
I mean, ultimately, for the museum, yeah, as far as the Welcome Center, we're kind of on the hook anyway, because pretty much that 15,000
is what.
does pay a great share of the maintenance costs. I mean, the money that Lancaster Renaissance receives for the events, the wonderful events they put on, Old Time Christmas, which was a big hit just last week, the block party as well as the Fall Fest, that does generate some revenue, but you know, it is a little bit that goes into the coffers that help maintain the building and do other things. So no, it does. I have been in conversations with the Fire Department Association about it, because I did broach that subject to them as well over the course of this past year. There's just some trying to negotiate whether, I mean, there's certain stipulations that some people want to have if it were to revert to the town. And as a town manager, I'm not, if we're going to take ownership of it, we need to have full control over it, in my opinion, with no limitations on certain things. So we're just trying to negotiate that stuff.
And I would think that would fall under maybe a lease agreement or something.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know whether a lease, I mean, basically, everything in that building is owned by the town of Lancaster.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not owned by the town of Lancaster is the building that everything that we own is in, as well as it sits on the town land. So it's just a matter of you know, concern. I think there's concern that that those fire department assets could be removed and it turns into a different use, which, I mean, what I've shared with them is it would be a fire department asset basically under the supervision and, let's just say, control of the fire chief. And it would be any maintenance and stuff would be part of the fire department budget. Any maintenance, the electricity, anything like that.
So in the Welcome Center, I know we had discussion at the budget with the heads. Would it still use it as a Welcome Center, employ the people?
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean,
I drawing nobody there.
I think at some point, and the thing of it is, I guess the Lancaster Renaissance needs to make a decision whether we want to keep that a Welcome Center or not. Because again, if you're only being visited by between 300 to 400 people a summer, a season, which is pretty much from Memorial Day to Columbus Day, and more than half are just going in to use the bathroom, there might be a better use for that first floor. I've always advocated for my office to move over there, and I will continue to advocate for that.
Advocated for Michael for the
The,
upstairs. But they, I mean, it does restrict during those months of people using that building.
Right.
That's the one thing because like if you wanna use it for whatever kind of event it is, we're limited.
Yeah.
The events that we use over the winter, you can't do in the summer because
Right.
it's used as welcome
Yeah,
center.
I mean, they do use it in the evenings during the
Yeah,
summer.
evenings are okay, because
Okay.
they shut down the Welcome Center like 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
I think some of the issue is that the Welcome Center is off the beaten path. I mean, you have to work to find it, you have to work to get there. It's not like, right, if it was in the location of the old information booth, that would be ideal, because it's right there on Clayton's Day on Main Street. You can drive right up, park, and walk right there. But
Well,
I don't
are we ready
wanna-
to admit we made a mistake?
I didn't make any mistake, I was
No,
leaving
no,
that.
I mean,
No,
in the past, moving the information booth from where it
That
was,
was-
where it always typically is in a small town on the main
Argued
street,
that point
and over there. Huh?
way back,
I made that point too.
Well,
I was right
way
with
back
you.
when, but the,
That building's sitting there illegally.
Yes, I realize that too.
Let's try to stay on it. Number one, I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, I really don't care.
Well, I'm not either.
Right.
The people
I
are
know,
all gone.
But you want us to admit that somebody made a mistake, so that's pointing a
Right.
finger, and I'm not gonna do it.
I
I'm not
think
asking you to
it's
do that. What I'm saying is that
unfortunate
we
that
should admit that a mistake was made, not pointing any fingers at who did it, but it was a mistake when they did it, and it's still a mistake, and it's proven out with 300 people visiting it. If it was at the information center, I'll bet you, the old information booth, I bet you it'd been 600.
Maybe, but I will say that the advent of technology like the cell phone does make welcome centers a little bit irrelevant. I don't think all of it is the location aspect of it. I do think a lot of it is, if people want to know where to go, they flip open their phone. They don't need to see anybody, they don't need to talk to anybody, and all they need is a place. You can't use your phone to go to the bathroom.
I think
Granted,
that
the
some of
cell
that,
phone, people don't go down there with a trailer behind their pickup, because most of them can't back up a travel trailer. And they want to take a big camper down there. It was a mistake in my book. And the second thing I'll bring up while I got the floor is that Leon and
I
I were
didn't know you had it, but I guess so.
Leon and I were involved in this before. If you take that over as the town of Lancaster, now you're gonna be in competition with area businesses because you're renting an office space.
Yeah,
And I don't think that's right.
Well,
first thing, I think it's unfortunate it's so far back because that does
Yeah.
hurt. But I also think in this day and age that maybe we could do a better job at letting people know where it is.
Signage would go a long ways.
A little bit of signage,
that's that big monstrous sign right there on the corner by the.
more,
by the-
yeah, but nobody's looking at signs, everyone's looking at their phone.
Then how do you, if they're not looking at signs, what sign?
They
signage is
they
gonna
punch
help?
into their phone, where's the Lancaster Welcome Center?
There is a sign.
And most of them are looking for an information booth or something and they don't pull anything up. I think there's a way to increase it there. So maybe it's a bad location, but I can tell you a lot of groups use that even in the summertime.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
We do have to plan for the future and God bless Linda for all the years that she's volunteered there. But if for some reason she stops volunteering there, we very well may not have a welcome center anyways. Because there's been a couple people that have been the mainstays
Oh, yeah,
of that.
absolutely.
And we don't seem to be able to recruit any new people.
No.
Okay.
So, I will move forward with the Welcome Center, and I will continue with the Fire Department
Yeah,
Association.
like I said, we would definitely need to work with them and
Yeah, but I do think I do feel it's in our best interest to at least investigate it, and I can try to come up with some different costs and stuff, but.
Sure.
I mean,
Well, what's the feeling of the people here, of the board here? Will the town of Lancaster be involved in renting office space now?
We'll look at anything, we're gonna look at it.
Well,
That's what this whole thing is about,
I
is,
gotta tell you,
Towns are not
No,
supposed to be in
no.
competition
You-
with.
no, they're not, Alan, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's part of the whole thing that we're looking at. Will we agree to do it? I don't know.
and I'm gonna
Not
say,
yet.
in a way,
It's too premature to
the
say.
building sits on town property and even though it's Lancaster Main Street or the Renaissance Committee that's renting it,
Yeah.
private partnership, it's not gonna change if the town takes over the building.
Right, and we substantially support it anyway, by
We do.
giving them $15,000 a
Yeah.
year, so we're in essence doing it already. And we rent out space all the time. We rent out space here in the town
Town
office,
off, right,
in the
town.
auditorium, so basically we rent out conference room space. Nobody complains about that, but we do.
We're not gonna change the dynamic, is where I'm,
Well, when you rent out the auditorium, no one else has got an auditorium, that's a town function, that's something the town can't do, nobody else can do.
There's other places, there's other opportunities to rent conference room space. They could go to the Mountain View and rent out a conference
No,
room
as
there.
far as auditorium place and things like that.
They could rent out a ballroom at the Mountain View Grand,
Yeah.
which would be similar than an
My
auditorium.
understanding was the town government is not supposed to be involved in anything that, in competing with private people, private individuals. You tread lightly. You have a fire department because no private people will do it. You have a town highway department because no private people will do it.
Well,
And then, but you stay out of, you don't go, so what's next? You're gonna send the highway crew out to put in septic systems because they can make $1 for the town? You know, you.
No, I think we're getting way off track there. That's
I
getting,
think it's basically, if we end up taking the building over, we're not changing the dynamic
No,
from
right.
what it is today.
Well, there is a special consideration. They did a percentage of the taxes taken off or put on. They pay a percentage of taxes, or did that go by the wayside?
I
For
don't
that
believe
original
they
sale.
ever
I
paid
don't believe
a
they've ever
payment
paid.
in lieu of taxes.
No.
We've supported it with $15,000 per year.
Right, but they taxed it, they did something with the income coming from Ned Finkel's office.
Well,
Remember that one, Leon?
I can remember arguing that they were not getting enough, and they did increase it a little bit, but that always went into the Renaissance Fund.
yeah, they don't pay taxes. They pay water and sewer, but they don't pay taxes, I can tell you that. I haven't gotten a tax bill. I've never seen them pay taxes since I've been here.
No.
A
And
named portion of that, okay? There was, like I say, there was a provision made or proposed that they did something because of them drawing income from the rental.
I don't believe it ever come to fruition.
All right,
Okay.
so I'll continue, let you know.
Please do.
Another opportunity, since we're talking real estate, you guys probably know our neighbor Dave Libby passed away a week or so ago, across the street around the corner of the parking lot of the PD in Mechanic Street. His kids came to visit me this past Friday morning and asked me if the town would be interested in taking possession of the property. We didn't talk any terms or anything like that. Again, I didn't want to get into it and waste anybody's time until I knew whether it was something that the select board was interested in me continuing on with. I mean, basically, it would be an opportunity for us to kind of secure land in the area that we've already been developed, and there's always need for either growth or expansion or relocation of services. I know we missed the opportunity several years ago with the Rabbit House, which was right next to the ambulance bay. It'd be great if we had the land all the way between the PD and the ambulance bay for future expansion or parking area or just a park or something like that, so.
Yeah, I would encourage you to pursue it.
Okay, I mean,
Would you
and
guys?
again,
Oh, yeah.
and again, I don't know what any terms would be. Obviously, this again would be something else that would have to go to the town meeting.
Yep.
And if there's money, an exchange of money involved, we would have to certainly find out how we raise the funds for
Yep.
that.
And it's been years since been in there. And I don't want to badmouth, but I don't think it's anything special, so you'd basically be looking at parking space.
Right.
Which we need. I wish we
Yeah.
left the house over here that time when it went for nothing.
Yeah.
Next to- Right here, that one should,
The,
the town should have definitely taken that back in a few years
And
ago.
I'm just throwing out there, since we're talking about expansion and stuff, and I know the town services have always been on Mechanic Street, but this is not an ideal street for a lot of the activity that goes on as far as the intersections and stuff. So that's another,
I know, I know, I don't disagree with you. I think I am, and I'm sure you are too, Leon. I'm a traditionalist that likes the idea of having all the departments in close proximity, but I definitely understand that, you know, you get a fire truck or, you know, or cruiser or an ambulance that has to pull out of here quick, and it's not ideal. We made it work and it's worked very well, but there certainly would be better locations, but where it's, I don't know how we would start that relocation effort at that point. I mean, let's just say as an example, you could potentially look at moving the highway garage up to the sand pit. I don't particularly think that's a better place to move the highway garage, because pulling out of the sand pit road
You've
there,
got the corner
across from
there and stuff.
Elizabeth Lane, that corner is pretty tight.
And I'm thinking probably more of the emergency
Right,
services
no, yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
But even with that, we still definitely can use more parking around the
Parking,
town hall.
you know, is crucial there.
So, because town meeting night,
I know, I'm glad I come here at 6
What was
o'clock.
it that you looked up the acreage?
Yeah, and I wish, so the acreage is 0.21 acres.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not-
it's
Not
actually,
a lot.
and it is actually a little bit bigger than you think. I always thought it was basically just the house, but it does stretch back a
a little bit, yeah.
So yeah, it's just under a quarter of an acre. And I can't remember, I know in our assessment, the land was assessed at about 12,000, and I can't remember what the building was assessed at, maybe like 40 or 50, I can't even remember what the assessment said. But again, I wasn't gonna get into too much of a conversation with them about terms of let's just say the transfer of ownership until I knew whether it was something worth looking into. You know, now that I'm not running a transfer station, now I might have time to get into real estate, so. See how that
Look at the fun you get to have.
Yeah.
I know. Good thing I had all these hats. So I'll look into that. Equipment bids, we've only received one bid for one item, and it is I believe it's the 1 ton. Again, what we had up for bid was the 1 ton, the old Sterling 1 ton, and the International 6-wheeler. We did put a minimum bid on both of those items of $5,000 because there is value there, a hell of a lot more than probably the $500 other people would bid on it. I don't know what this bid is, hopefully it's a minimum, and if whatever we decide with this, I'll talk to Tim Brown and get your advice as well. Maybe we'll just hang on to that 6-wheeler for now and see if there's other interest that pops up, or maybe we'll just have to decide to lower the minimum bid some. But I don't think I would put it back down to, you know, anything goes type of thing. Because I think we throw away too much money when we just say, just bid whatever you want. So anyways, but here's it is. If you want to open it. I didn't open it yet.
You didn't?
It's not my job.
Danny Savage.
Yeah.
So, Danny Savage. Sterling 6-wheeler. Sterling 6-wheeler.
It means the Sterling 1 ton. Jesus.
What is the?
The
six-
smaller one. So
Okay.
well, there's probably 6 wheels on it.
Yeah, there is. Okay, just want to make.
It's the 1 ton.
All right, so it's the 1 ton. 5,100.
If you want, wow. A little bit more than.
$900.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Nothing else in there now.
Make a,
Oops,
as much as I hate to, make a motion to accept the bid from Danny Savage for $5,100 for the Sterling 1 ton.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contact Mr. Savage,
Very
please.
good, thank
And I
you.
get, one of the reasons why I do that, a few years ago, we was trying to bid stuff off, and we ran it in the paper 4 or 5 times and ended up spending more money than what we gained.
Right.
Chris.
Yeah, especially the cost of advertising, for sure. Good, I will let him know, and we'll make arrangements to get that out property. And in the meantime,
We take the decals off that stuff?
yes,
before-
we're going to.
Okay,
Yes.
Now-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth keeping that dump truck at least into spring in case we have some kind of travesty go on with,
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to Brown, I don't think it's hurting us. I mean, I believe it's stored up at the sand pit.
well, the question is, does it need any serious maintenance or anything that would
We-
preclude
we-
us from if
we just
something
put a-
happened?
We put a lot in it last fall.
Yeah, I think there's just, there's, I think that the cab is a little punky and soft. I believe that might be the only, or the main one, but I'm not quite sure if that's it or if it's the one ton that has that problem. I get confused on that, but I'll talk to Brown and then I can share with you what his thoughts are at the next Lions meeting, we can make a decision.
I just, given the time of year, does it make sense to get rid of it?
Right, no, exactly.
So the bids are closed on that
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah. Yeah, so we can always reopen the bids for the six-wheeler.
That might be wise, seeing as we haven't got any.
Yeah. A couple other things that didn't make it on the agenda, but I just want to bring up. Before Brian Patno got done at the transfer station, we were talking about just some potential minor changes. One thing that he had recommended is the hours of the transfer station on Tuesday were open until 7. It's noon to 7. You know, that might make sense in the summertime when it stays light till 9 o'clock, but this time of year when it's dark by 4:30, it creates a potential liability because we don't have any lights out back where the demo is, where the burn pile is. So what he said, you know what, and plus, usually between 5 and 7, they're lucky to get 3 people, if that, going in there. So you can't have people wait there till 7, 2 hours, you got at least 3 people there for 2 hours for not much. So he recommended changing those hours from 8 to 5. And what I was hoping we could do is just try it out starting January 1st and try it through, I guess I would say, I guess I'd have to look at the clock, the time of the clock. So at least a minimum until April 1st and reevaluate that. And the reason I'm saying starting January 1st is to give enough time, we put an ad in the paper, put on our website, start letting people know as they come in to the transfer station. Again, and then those hours, if people are losing hours by the reduction of time, then we can redistribute those hours other days and maybe that'll create some better efficiencies on those other days.
I don't have a big problem with the plan, especially in the wintertime, because like you said, it's dark, and probably a lot of people don't want to go there. But we over time, we keep decreasing the hours that the transfer station's open. You know, we cut off this day, used to be able to go in there Friday, but now we just have the.
They're still gonna be open the same amount of, they're gonna be open actually longer hours on Tuesday technically, because they open at 8. I'm sorry, I didn't probably not say. They're gonna open to the public at 8 and
Yeah.
close to the public at 5, where for now it's noontime to 7.
So, okay, so we're really not,
We're not
just-
changing the hours, we're just kind of
it's been a concern, because for a while there, we kept cutting back hours, as long as people have enough hours.
Yeah.
And I do think during the wintertime,
Yeah.
that's probably a liability issue.
Yeah. No, and I would imagine probably in the wintertime, they get less visitors between 5 and 7, just because when it gets dark, people just want to go home and hibernate, I know I do. So can we start our meetings earlier in the wintertime? No. So it's possible that we would, like I said, we look at it again come April 1st, maybe we bump the hours again back to noon to 7, and see how that goes. Or maybe we just try it and see if 8 to 5 works fine, even in the spring and summertime. That way people aren't, trying to figure out when the transfer station's open.
I just said it'd be interesting to see what the numbers were in the summertime versus.
They said that almost year-round, it's only a few people from 5 to 7. It's probably maybe more consistent, a few people in the summertime as opposed to in the wintertime. It might be a few one week and none the next, and so on and so forth, but they said it's very, very minor throughout the year for the most part, in those 2 hours. And it is open, so so the hours to the public would be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 8 to 5. Even the days they're not open, technically not advertised open to the public, people do come. They're usually, they don't kick them out. They try to
They've
accommodate
been,
as
they're
best.
usually reasonable.
Yeah,
Well, the understanding was that it wouldn't be closed to contractors,
right,
Right, commercial
that they
hours.
could come in anytime.
right,
And it's gotta be.
right,
You can't have a contractor with a pickup load of
Of
stuff and
stuff.
nothing to do.
right.
Can't dump it, it's closed more than
The,
it's open. And we should, and Leon's right, we should not cut the hours, and I see you cut, you gained it all.
Right.
8 to 5, you gained it all.
It used to be 10 to 7 on Tuesday.
I mean, most of them are there early anyways, even on Tuesdays, just doing the cleanup from the weekend and, or from waiting
Do
on
you,
dropping off.
Do you need an official motion, or?
I don't think so. I guess I just wanted to make sure you guys were fine with it and you didn't have any severe heartache over it. And I think it's an operational thing that, if you guys want to, that's fine, but as an operational thing, I think that, you know, between me and the transfer station staff, we can make that decision.
Just let's do the notices and
Yep.
see how it works.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing is, we've had, and I know we get these, I think probably every year, but we've gotten a few this year, and Tim Brown's really concerned about it. The corner of Mount Prospect Road, where it takes a sharp corner, basically Davidge Corner, I think people call it. Those bushes there, that wrap around the corner, it does create a very severe hazard, not only for passenger vehicles, but for the plow trucks in the wintertime, trying to plow. You can't see around the corner. The roadway is very narrow. I mean, the plow trucks are wide, so they do take up space. It's tough to navigate. I know several years ago, before my time in this seat, there was some discussion and attempt to address this with the owner of the property. It wasn't successful. I think, my understanding is we do have the authority, because those bushes are within the town's right of way, and if they're considered a hazard, we do have the right, we do have a policy actually that says we have the right to remove hazard trees within our right of way. What I have done, and I was hoping to get something by tonight, but I haven't, I did pass along that question to the town's attorney, John Frizzell, to ask him for his opinion, because if we're gonna face some disagreement with the property owner, I wanna make sure that we have our ducks in a row and I know what our rights are and what they aren't. But are you guys, if it comes back, and I can wait and bring this to your attention at the next meeting, probably before we make a decision, but to share with you what Attorney Frizzell's recommendation was. But ideally, we'd like to remove those bushes, even if we remove the bushes and in the springtime, we replace them with something else further back.
Have you reached out to the property owner?
I haven't myself, but my understanding is when he was contacted several years ago, he threatened to sue the town,
Yeah.
and that's when everything stopped. Well, I mean, people threaten to sue all the time. I'm not afraid of that. That's why I'm asking Attorney Frizzell to let us know what our rights are. 'Cause
Yep.
if we're gonna get sued, he's gonna be the man
The
responsible.
first time we tried to address those trees was back when I was first on the board in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And it's called Davidge Corner because Mr. Davidge was involved too, and there was absolutely no way they wanted them removed. It's a scenic road, it's this, it's that. And of course, then Mr. Davidge cut all his trees on his property a little bit further down the road. But that has been a problem for years. But let's reach out, I don't know if the property owner's changed or not.
No,
No, it's still the same.
still Mr. Davidge.
He's put up a board fence.
Oh, yes?
He has. You look behind that hedge, I think you'll find there's a solid board fence.
Is there?
And maybe in preparation for knowing that he's gonna lose.
Maybe.
But, you know, so I've watched the select board for 20 years bite this, and just because that guy's got money doesn't mean he should.
Yeah, it's-
He's on the right of way.
Yeah, no, and.
No, I don't think that's, you know,
They've been afraid of him. He barks and they back off.
yeah,
And
maybe.
another place that
Maybe.
this should be addressed is out where Bill Kelly used to live on Pleasant Valley Road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You look, you go down the road like this, and they force the road out. They forced the road to take a detour when they graded it
They
because of those trees. And they
put
should be addressed as well.
new telephone poles out there at the same time we was there, and actually it was Shane's father, thank God he was there, because the unreasonableness that was going on, and literally, they had public service come out and move telephone poles 6 or 8 inches this way or that way to keep them happy. I was like, no, they're there, leave them. Probably the first thing we gotta do is contact the landowner.
Yeah.
And then we gotta make sure
And
our
I'll-
ducks in a row as far as the right of way width there.
Right, yeah, so yeah, that's, I mean, the right of way from Mount Prospect Road, I checked, I think it's like, it's 49.5 feet.
49.
I mean, the travel way, and Alan, you could probably.
Those trees are in those.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just the travel way is probably, if that gravel is 30 feet, then that's a lot, so that gives you,
It's
10 more
narrow
feet
there.
on either side of the gravel.
We talk about liability. Where's your liability if I come around there and hit a car because you can't see?
Right.
Huh?
Say, well, should've wore his glasses, come on.
So I mean, so like I said, I did reach out to Frizzell, I was hoping to have something by today, but, with the holidays, I'm sure things are delayed a bit, so. But I wanted to put this on your radar, that it is something that we are looking into, and we would use, obviously.
I'm trying to think
assistance
of
when
it.
needed.
And they might have trimmed some of the branches up.
See, this,
Or
Continue
something.
right on and go up to Pleasant Valley Road and take care of that situation as well.
there was a plan to lower the road down from the bushes,
Yeah, oh, he wanted to pay, he didn't want to pay for it.
and
No.
I might have paperwork on that.
I know that, I've heard him make comment about that, but I didn't know there was a plan.
Yeah.
My understanding was there was an offer of the land if we wanted to relocate the road. Well,
Yeah. And
I don't know what the particulars are, but I remember seeing, I might have
Okay,
in possession of that.
well, if you find it,
Yep.
that'd be cool to take a look at. So.
Okay.
And then the only other stuff, we have a couple land use permits, James Burgess, 24 Community Camp Road, construct a unheated 10 by 12 stick-built mudroom addition on piers. Meets all the setbacks. And then, William and Tammy Lazat, 60 Mayberry Lane, install a solar array. Flush-mounted BAA 40 bracket, I don't know what all that is. Yeah, big solar array. 28 400 watt panels with a bunch of other electrical terminology that I don't understand. That is,
That's all you got?
I have got, yeah, can't think of anything else. I can make something up. Or maybe I just did.
Anything else from the board?
I don't have anything.
Anything from the audience?
When are you gonna finish the trim on the handicap addition on the windows?
When I find a contractor who will take the time to do it, or even look at it, I've reached out to probably from the summer till now, I've spoken with at least a half a dozen contractors. I did talk to one who was gonna try to get to it, and he never did. And at this point, we don't have the money to do it because of the cost of everything else, so that's not a priority,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
too bad, because it's kind of a black eye on the town.
Yeah,
To have a building half completed.
yeah.
What happened that it didn't get completed? What was the reason behind it? Do you remember?
I have no idea. Well, I mean, when I became town manager, it wasn't that, we didn't have the brick facade done, so I had that done. There was, the contractor, I don't know.
What happened?
I had no idea whether there was even a whole contract that said who was required to do what, so
Okay.
I've kind of been trying to piece
Okay, no, I didn't know.
work together to finish it. We even have work within the town office, some of the work in the town office that isn't 100% completed. So there's probably a punch list, a few pages long of projects that we need to have completed. And it's, again, a matter of finding the contractor and then ensuring we have the funds to do it. But when we're trying to, and I understand Alan's point, but I'd much rather have that black eye than have us not have gas to plow the roads or apprehend unseedy individuals.
Yep. No, I just didn't, I couldn't
I'm not
remember
looking at
why.
you because I just said that.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you, I'm upset about it as well. Yeah.
It'd be like having the town office, a clapboarded building with a paint peeling off it. You know, you try to keep your images up in the town, keep your town looking good.
Yep. No,
You know, a little, probably 75% of the people don't realize that it isn't completed,
No, probably not.
but the contractors do.
yep. Well, if any contractor wants to help out, they can certainly give me a call, but like I said, I've spoken to several of them. Asked them to take a look. And these are contractors that had never had an opportunity to bid on a job with the town, so I was hoping to provide some goodwill. Give them an opportunity, not a single one. And not that they're not willing, they're just too busy.
Too busy, yeah.
And so, I mean, no disrespect to them, it's just they're too busy. And like I said, at this point, by the time summer was over, I was too nervous about spending money on that because the cost, I don't know what the materials were gonna cost, so I just, hopefully, next year, we'll be able to do that, so.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't have to walk so long.